Orders are due this Monday at I Want More Comics and Games. We make them available online so you don't miss out for your comic, trade paperback, and manga choices. And join us every Sunday night at 6 p.m. Mountain as we review these and more in our Final Orders Due show on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Number 1 issues this week include Absolute Green Lantern from DC Comics, Of the Earth and Odin from Image Comics, Ultimate Universe Finale, Wiccan and Hulkling Raid of Ultron, and Avengers Armageddon from Marvel Comics. And from Dark Horse Comics, we have Ring the Man Who Beat the Man. Also, check out the hot variants of the week. Place your order before 6 p.m. Monday night, either ship or in-store pickup, and we will see you at release.
You know, Richie, you and I are not the one to make that video, but do we have to issue an apology because there was a TMNT in there?
No, I think I'm okay with it.
I'll
allow it.
You're proving that?
Yeah, I approve.
Well, it's Sunday night.
It is Sunday night of the beginning of a crazy, crazy week for us.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's not my business.
Well, it is in your business by name. I'll give you that. Yes, welcome everybody to the Sunday of the week before Free Comic Book Day. But let's talk before we get into that nonsense. We have lots of cool stuff to kind of eat away the time before we get to the big event this weekend. As such, we have our typical Sunday night show, which is Keith and I chatting about comic books that are on the due list. This is where the bell's about to ring and deadlines are hitting. But the good news is that all these comic books are available, which means that we are going to order to what you request. This isn't stuff that could get sold out. To follow along, you want to be on our website homepage, click onto shop, and then go to Final Orders Due. Right there, you will join Keith and I as we navigate through all of these pages and discuss the new number ones, a couple of cool variants we think, and if we have time, maybe talk about a trade of paperback or two. This week is not crazy, but does have a lot of really wacky number ones and new issues and significant comics that may have come back and potentially could actually finally be released. We'll see if all of that comes true, but we will go through each and every one.
I know Richie's number one thing he'd like to encourage you guys to buy is the 6-7 sketchbook for $6.70. This is a blank book that you can make up your own 6-7 comic.
That is, yes, from Antarctic Press. They got in on the joke and are selling a joke comic for $6.70. So if you have a kiddo in middle school and just want them to go nuts, show them this thing and let them draw, spark some creativity out of this silly, silly joke. They can create their own comic.
I believe when you present it, you have to do this juggling hands thing.
Oh yeah, there we go. We're not old. So we're definitely
okay. Now we've done making fun of that.
All right, so that is a part of it. Let's jump into DC Comics with a new number one for Absolute Green Arrow. With this, the only thing I can tell you, you've heard talks about Green Arrow if you've been paying attention in the DC Absolute universe. He's been mentioned a few times in the comic books to include Absolute Justice or Injustice. Is that what it was called? I can't remember. But the big news is that Green Arrow is arrived. This is going to be a really incredible book where Green Arrow is not quite a rich person, but he's definitely against a big corp, but in this case he's a hired mercenary. So he's definitely going to take down the white collar crime in his straight Punisher-like style is what I'm looking at. So the comics kind of lean into that, the covers anyway, and I think there's a lot of cool, unique covers. As with most things Absolute, I typically know what I'm going to sell with Green Arrow, but when you put that Absolute name right in front of it, that's going to throw a big curveball on who's wanting to jump in on this bad boy. So for all of you that are enjoying Green Arrow, obviously I think this is just another one of your character's highlights, but if you're an absolute freak, then you might want to not miss this bad boy as well, including all those incredible covers available.
Yeah, there's definitely a different look to this guy. He looks a little bit more menacing, but that is the absolute world. I'm expecting about a 4x compared to what others return on this, and I think that it's it. I mean, Let's also talk about that the creative team there is Pornshot Pichot and Raphael Albuquerque.
Yeah, incredible team there. I also would let people that are into the absolute world and maybe the DC overall concepts of these worlds. Typically, I don't know this for a fact, but I would put some bets on the fact that the expansion of this world or more in-depth concepts of this world are going to be hidden within the Green Arrow universe, where the other ones are kind of more focused on the character. Green Arrow has some room to kind of like dive into further stuff. Maybe not in the first arc, but definitely potentially in the second.
You definitely could see him running into a lot more. So there's a lot lined up there. So get in early, be on your first prints. This is the opportunity. As a reminder here, this is the point in time that you can order more than one. If you like to turn around and get additional copies, this is the show for it. You're allowed to increase your orders on all these items here. Once it is our numbers and once it's on the rack, then we do limit one per person. Policy is always standing like that to make sure that we get the best chance to get it out to everybody.
Exactly. Next up, we might as well talk about this weird one. It is not a number one. It is the ending of a comic book that we've been waiting on. So we are in DC, so we'll jump over to Batman. And not to confuse anybody, but we're going to go back to the last volume, 2016. And we're going to talk about issue 163. For those that were reading along, you may have forgotten, but I'll remind you that we've been waiting on the end of the Jeff Loeb, Jim Lee collab for Hush 2 for quite some time. And I hesitate to say that it's going to finally end. Now, typically with this kind of stuff, they say it's going to come out and then it doesn't. But the fact that it's on our final orders due gives me a lot of hope. The thing about this comic, even if you have forgotten about it, was very high octane. It felt a little outside of the continuity that we were, but it was very, very good for Hush fans, and I am a Hush fan. So, and outside of all that, we're talking about Jim Lee interiors on Batman. So, like, that alone should just make you interested in this comic book. All of them are available right now. The covers and variants are all very unique. But if you're someone that is not on our portal system or someone that was buying just in general off the website, I thought I would highlight this one to make sure that you don't miss out on this final issue, because you'll have to kind of go backwards and make sure that you don't miss out on the ending of volume 3 of Batman.
Let's talk real quickly about the types of variants that are here and what's going on.
Yes.
If anybody remembers the end of the first Hush way back when we were all small children, there were 2 covers. You had the heroes cover, the villains cover, right?
Yes.
Well, Jim Lee's decided to triple, quadruple, sextuple down on that, whatever numbers we get to. Okay. But let's just talk about what it is. Again, the main cover actually has an alternate coloring. If you'll notice between these 2 here, it's the same cover, but it's got a little bit different on the coloring. Okay. Then you get the Batman connecting covers, which there are 3 different books that would connect and give you the full shot of the Batman side of things. You also have the gatefold cover, which has all 3 together. So if you just want to have it all stretched out and get your art that way, you're covered. Then there's the Hush cover, which is 3 wide for Hush's team, whatever the side that we picked on this. It also has its own gateway. Back to the main cover, you have a foil edition, if you like. And then we turn around and also have here the Del Lotto variant, the Gary Frank variant, and the Jorge Jimenez variant. So options are here. There's really
Huge, too.
but that's why this thing looks so repetitive, and it's like that. Choose what you want. I'm going to be honest, we're going to carry a decent amount of this because Hush sold well, but I am going to be a little bit limited on some of the variant options because I don't know how many people out there need to buy 3 different ones versus just the one gatefold. So, like we have to make our guesses. So now is the time for you to make sure that you're not at the whims of our guesses.
Excellent. All right. From there, let's jump over to, we'll talk about some new number 1s coming out, and then we'll come back to Marvel, probably end on Marvel. But let's move over to Dark Horse, which have a few unique covers coming out, or issues. The first one I wanted to bring is not technically a number 1, but it is a 00, so kind of jumping into the prequels of something, but that is Rockefellers is going to have a 00 issue. We do have you from the portal. If you were picking up Rockefellers, you'll be tied to this already. This will feature, the unique part about this is going to feature a new comic that's coming out later with kind of a new Ghost Machine family, which is called The Unbelievables. And the $1 Trillion Kid will premiere in this issue for those that are looking out for first appearances and things like that. $1 Trillion Kid is in the catalog for next month, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you're going to have between this and you're going to have what we've already FOC'd for the handbooks for the Ghost Machine. That stuff that's already come through. Those are some areas there to expand this universe. So pay attention there if you are big fans of what all those creatives are doing.
The next one they have is a Pride anthology, which is going to be Monsters in Love.
Okay, so I'll go Dark Horse for that one.
Yep. This one looks like, Monsters in Love. I think this is the 2nd or 3rd time they've done a Pride variant, or Pride issue, that is. So I would suggest if you're picking those up to make sure to grab one and don't miss out. They're in along the lines of Pride Month. We also are going to have a ton of theme variants and a ton of one-shots, so don't miss out on them. Thought I'd highlight each one as we go along for the month.
This is an anthology book, $9.99. You're going to have a lot of different stories inside of it.
Then we can go over to The Ring, The Man Who Beat the Man, number 1. This is Gail Simone, which is taking on a story about a fictional world where everyone wants to be the champion and has to kind of compete in boxing. So it's taking like old school historic lore of competitive boxing and putting it kind of like into the world of typically they do that with ninjas. Like everybody knows kung fu for no reason at all, but this one's going to have kind of like everybody knows boxing for no reason at all. It seems like a really great romp. The thing is even if you think and I don't know why you would, but if you for some reason are like, I don't understand why Gail Simone's going to be writing a boxing thing. First of all, shame on you. Gail can write whatever she wants. But second of all, heed your worry because this is also, she teamed up with esteemed boxing magazine, The Ring, for this 8-issue series. So she's kind of been collabing with True History of Boxing to try to give the story some weight. So I think if you're slightly interested in that, or just like a good beat 'em up story, or Gail Simone for that matter, you should pick up The Ring.
I believe this is referring to your nerdness and all this, but yeah, taking AP Nesses in school and all this, AP level type things.
Yes.
Just one cover on this one. If you'll notice, it is homage to that great Muhammad Ali photo.
Got that one. That is
right here in Dark Horse. We have Only the Savage Are Left.
Yep, that is the next one I was going to.
Yep.
So this one here is kind of a it's for those that like to say like, oh, it's the next Walking Dead. This one has a bit of an apocalyptic feel, or the next Walking Dead kind of concept. This is a strange virus that's spread across the world, and basically it turns you into a monster. The only way to not become a monster is to defeat a previous monster incarnation. So you kind of have to fight your friend if they turn into a monster to make sure you don't turn into a monster, kind of style. We're going to join a pacifist that kind of has to try to live in this world and do everything they can not to murder those that are around.
3 covers on this one here. Marco Mastrazo and Todd Beats are on your alternates.
All right, and I think that's everything in Dark Horse. So we will jump over to Oni Press, because I thought this was a Dark Horse, but it potentially could have moved. Where one of my favorites, Matt Kent, is bringing out a new Mind Management.
It's called Mind. Yep, he has brought his product over to Oni for continued publication here.
So this is Mind Management, new and improved. It is it is a continuation, not a reboot, but it is a kind of jumping on point for anyone that might have not read Mind Management. You missed out if you didn't read Mind Management. I will tell you that. It's a great, great series. Kind of a la X-Men or Heroes from the TV show. This is kind of the government doing experiments and creating psychic detectives for trying to beat the psychological warfare. It fails. They go into hiding and kind of try to maintain their mundane lives, but everyone is constantly after them. Great, great story. A lot of really cool stuff in it. If you didn't read it before, jump on it. If you were reading it before, make sure not to miss this new arc that's coming from Matt Kent himself.
There is a blind bag here. There is an insane amount of stuff that could be included into this. Please check that whole list and see if the blind bag is for you. We would lose all the rest of the time of the show if we tried to read through all the details inside.
That's correct.
There's some really cool stuff in there for only a $7.99 blind bag.
All right. Moving on, we'll go to Mad Cave Studios. Mad Cave has a Babylon Cove, which is going to be kind of a rom-com mixed with thriller, dark horror story. They kind of attribute it to if Stephen King were allowed to write a Hallmark holiday movie. This is what we're in for Babylon Cove. So if that's your interest, jump on that.
I've never seen a book with 2 so different covers there, right? Because that first one gives you a completely different meaning, but this second one is going to be popular when you say, hey, look, it's a variant by Eric Powell of all. I would
agree.
Yes. So very good for that.
If you want the rom-com and maybe not the dark thriller, we can go over to Ignition Press, where they have a new #1 called Dog Sitter. Reading the synopsis, it's genuinely a summer feel-good rom-com storyline of a veterinarian that is kind of coming home for the summer to get a side gig to pay for the ridiculous cost of education. She meets a man, and she kind of swerves out of her focus. The really cool thing about this is all of the dogs in the book are actually illustrated from real life pups of the creators.
Yeah, I can see where this is going to draw on a fan base right away, just because of the fans of pets and things like that. The Balderi variant is really
real strong
for that kind of thing. So.
Over at Black Mask, instead of a rom-com, it's kind of a breakup. Cal Exit says goodbye to Hollywood. This is a continuation from Cal Exit, the story of the California War with the United States of America. A lot of craziness ensues in this bad boy. For those that are a part of it, jump on. I do think that this is a jump on point for anyone that potentially doesn't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think this is the 3rd or 4th volume in the Cal Exit universe there. But they do feed into each other, but it is something because I could actually, I think that's right. This is third because also here we have the second trade paperback on FOC at the same time for the old one, The Battle of Universal City.
Excellent. All right, there's a couple more things I want to make sure we get through, so I'm going to jump over to those. The first one is not a new number one, but I thought you could talk a little bit about it from Dynamite Entertainment. The boys are getting a Blood Blind Bag edition.
So this I tried to spend time researching to figure out what this is. We are under a little bit of a trap of we don't know what's completely in here.
Excellent.
So for $29.99, it has three variants to this, but the premium blind bag contains 3 separate limited edition variants. Some of the key issues of the series with unique variant covers drawn at random from a range of are exclusive to this offering. So again, unique and exclusive in this offering, but I can't tell you if we're going to see facsimile editions of where it was, or if these were, like Dear Becky issues. The first 6 or 7 issues were originally done over in the DC world before DC says, hey man, that's a little extreme. And then Dynamite carried the rest of the series. They were reprinted at Dynamite. They have access to the whole library. I don't know what the limit of what this is, but these are, it says specifically, exclusive to this offering here and getting 3 different ones inside there. I would assume you're going to see one blank, and then you're going to see 2 other things inside there. So,
excellent. So
outside of that,
a bigger gamble.
Don't have great info.
Yeah, sounds like a bigger gamble than we're typically used to for blind bags. So if purchase at your own risk, but if you're a boys fan, there might be something cool.
Yeah.
All right, jumping over to Image Comics, I wanted to talk about something and give everybody a secondary chance at a unique giveaway we did. I haven't promoted this, so this is kind of for you that are watching right now or watching a little bit later. If you can contact us, we gave out, for those that contacted us and put on their hold or pre-purchased, this was a If Destruction Be Our Lot by Matthew Rosenberg. But what we didn't say, or I think we might have brought it up, but it's a flip book.
Yeah. And
the flip book is Odin. And we didn't talk about Odin a lot, but maybe I should bring up what Odin's about. It is going to be Green Room meets Midsummer. This is going to be a story about a journalist that has to get the perfect story and doesn't mind kind of like diving as deep into the most dangerous territory as she can to make sure she comes out with one of the greatest blogs of all time. In this one in particular, she goes undercover with neo-Nazi punks, and they are trying to bring back Odin to achieve their promised white destiny. But what awaits them in the woods is far older and stranger, and no gods are coming to help them. That is on its own incredibly interesting, and I think worthy of picking up the book. But when I tell you that James Tynion is writing this with Marguerite Bennett, you should really look at the history of what James does with horror stories. Okay, Something is Killing the Children might be one of the biggest books of this era, and I think that Odin's going to be the next one.
Department of Truth also feels like it's going to have a little bit of roots here. Yep. It's not going to be related. It's just going to be how he takes, historical or mythical pieces and brings them to story. So
he does not do anything at half mass. He is all in every time. And so if you're even slightly interested, I highly recommend picking up Odin now. I can't say that it's going to get big. I can't do any of that, but I will tell you that Tynion draws a crowd every time. So pick up the ones you'd like. And if you do that, make sure to message us today and we'll get you an ash can as well, just to sweeten the deal for free.
We still have a few left from the last one. So those of you who got it the first time, you've already got it. There's nothing to do here. But if you guys have said, well, I wasn't as much in on this, but I'm more in on Odin, you're available here. Just either through the portal, add it, or turn around and purchase it before 6 tomorrow night, and then send us a message. You can even turn around and message here in this chat and these things for us to know, hey, I'm raising my hand. I would like to have that.
There you go. All right, that brings us back to Marvel.
You got one more image.
Go ahead.
Of the Earth.
Yes.
So Of the Earth here is Chris Condon. Charlie Adler is back at your art. He used to do some of that stuff, right? He used to do some kind of series that was.
I think it was like walking something. I don't remember.
Yeah, some of zombies and walking. I don't know.
Right.
But this book here is out. The new number 1 here for this. It is a mini series, so it's not planned to be a long term. You don't have to turn around and get a big long investment to get into this one. I believe it's going to be 5 parts. I think that's the right number there. But again, here that this is eco horror miniseries that is Blood Simple meets John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah,
that'll keep you with what you got there and all this. I really like Adler's homage variant here. Just really
that's amazing. Yeah, and look out for like soft turns and eeriness for this being a little bit noir style for horror.
Yep.
Excellent. So then we'll jump over to Marvel and chat about a few biggies. The first one is going to be Avengers Armageddon is going to be releasing. This is Chip Zdarsky's overarching pull from Avengers, Fantastic Four, Wolverine. This is all prequel to the big Armageddon cataclysm that he's kind of doing. So for now, Avengers people are on it, but if you're reading Armageddon Wolverine, it's probably a good idea to jump onto this and not miss out this really cool story that's going to be cross-event, worldly even. I know I'm not getting enough for just Avengers people, but I don't want to commit everybody to an ongoing this big. So make sure to find out if you want to be in on this bad boy. And then we will make sure we don't miss out on the craziness that Zdarsky is going to bring to Marvel.
There is a side piece to this. It is going to be a bagged book because while whatever printing supplies are going to last, because they've already warned us that all issues on this may get allocated.
Mm-hmm.
There is a magic card giveaway inside of this. And so
this
card, which you could get the cover if that matches it too here, is inserted in all of the issues inside the bag. It's a playable magic card. It's actually a pretty good magic card for playing and all this. It's going to be very popular on that side of things. So there will be a lot of them out there, but it also is going to limit some of the pieces about this. So
at the very least, it will complicate things. I'll tell you that.
They're already warning us that there are limits to how many magic cards they can print. So that means that there's going to be a limit to how many on the card they can have. They're saying, hey, when we can't fill it in the first prints, know that a second print will be on the way. That's not what I really love, but it is inside all of this. We will be obviously filling first orders first, like it's the rack that gets shorted first. So raise your hand and be in line first for that.
So let's talk about another crazy thing that Marvel's doing. It's called 616 Day Marvel Mystery Bag featuring Doom. Goodness gracious. Keith came to me with this bad boy and he was like, oh man, they literally just told us about this thing. So it is a crazy amount of, it looks like basically a celebration of what is Marvel. They're kind of landing the 616 and taking that brand for themselves and using it for their continuity. If for those that don't know, 616 is the actual Marvel continuity line. And so to celebrate that, they're going to kind of take on Doom and show everybody the coolness that is Doom, kind of probably in prep for Doomsday that's coming out in theaters and kind of just really bringing everything into the celebration. The problem is that they didn't give us a ton of time to talk about it. So let's discuss.
So last
year
they celebrated 616 Day with a Whatnot promotion.
Yeah,
they had special things that went on and Whatnot and all this. This is now a little bit wider, and it's going to be available everywhere. For $14.99, you're getting a blind bag with 2 books inside of it. The first one is an exclusive black and white edition of Doom Quest #1, which is kind of a little bit of a big deal out there. The book that they're really touting as to, you want to know Doom, you should read this. And then there is also a facsimile edition of major Doom stories, and that's where it gets random in here. Avengers 25, Fantastic Four 258, Iron Man 149. I'll tell you what, when they pick stories like that and it's in the MCU, that's all I need to tell you guys as to where to kind of look for where that is. Lots of rarity inside this, a lot of different, there'll be different covers, and there will even be high-end, you're just finding it, like the one-of-one type stuff that they've done in some different stuff there. So this just got dropped. This is just out there. We don't know how limited it's going to be. We're putting it out and available right now and all this. Please sign up now to be in line for it.
Correct. We are running out of time, but I will mention that Ultimate Universe is getting their finale this week, so don't miss out on those excellent covers, including just a ton. There's a bonkers amount, but the Phil Noto A is even great itself. That is a bigger one. Devil's Due Publishing is celebrating a 25th anniversary special one-shot. They've been missing for a bit, so this is kind of cool to bring back a one-shot. And then IPI Comics, which is a brand new one. I kind of put it on the end because I didn't want to lose time to talk about that Marvel thing, but The Matron's coming out, which is 2 gals from a legacy of a serial killer just trying to live their normal lives, and the 40th anniversary or something of them coming back, and they're worried about the lineage. So
there is something that was ultra popular that's coming back as a second print here. Obviously, you can get all your Battle Beast if you missed any part there. That's available.
Yes.
But Lost Fantasy #9 with this super popular variant that is back as a second print foil edition, or there's a second print new art that they put out for this. You guys know who's fans. You know where, you want to turn around and do this. I've already had good orders in on this.
There you go. All right, gang.
Play more. Take a look. Have fun with it and all this. Get your orders in by 6 o'clock tomorrow. Join us back on Tuesday night for more fun, and we will see you then.
See ya.
Orders are due this Monday at I Want More Comics and Games. We make them available online so you don't miss out for your comic, trade paperback, and manga choices. And join us every Sunday night at 6 p.m. Mountain as we review these and more in our Final Orders Due show on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. #1 issues this week include Absolute Green Lantern from DC Comics, Of the Earth and Odin from Image Comics, Ultimate Universe Finale, Wiccan and Hulkling Raid of Ultron, and Avengers Armageddon from Marvel Comics. And from Dark Horse Comics, we have Ring the Man Who Beat the Man. Also, check out the hot variants of the week. Place your order before 6 p.m. Monday night, either shipped or in-store pickup, and we will see you at release.